Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a special late night version of Deep Waters MMA. And when I say late, I mean it's so late that it's early. But we're going to be going over the results of UFC 285 and reacting to the fights. Just the main card, and great card overall. Ended kind of in an anticlimactic way. Was pretty confused about what happened there at the end, but hey, great event nonetheless. But yeah, let's get into it. All right, so starting right off the bat, the main event, Jon Jones defeats Ciryl Gane by submission at 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the first round. The 2 minutes and 4 second mark of the first round. This fight was over almost right after it began. It started with a foul, accidental kick to the nuts by Ciryl Gane, and started with the foul, and it didn't really land clean. Like, it wasn't like straight to the cup or anything. High on the inside thigh of Jon Jones. But yeah, after that, Jon Jones, they only threw a few strikes apiece there, and then Jon Jones ended up closing the distance, getting the takedown, and ended up kind of like in a halfway mount against the fence on top of Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane, kind of what I touched on in the video that I released. You can go check that video out. Why Jon Jones would dominate Ciryl Gane if he was able to implement his game the way he needed to. Ciryl Gane seemingly did not work on his ground game at all. Well, I can't say he didn't work on it. He didn't improve his ground game at all since the last time we saw him. In fact, it looked like it even might have regressed in some ways. I guess just grappling just isn't for him. I don't know what he was doing in this situation. The finish was just confusing. Gane didn't even look like he was trying to defend, to be honest. I mean, he didn't hand fight at all. He didn't, Jon attempted to apply the choke twice, and Ciryl Gane didn't hand fight either of the times. It was just baffling to watch, especially on rewatch. I've rewatched the sequence a few times now, and Jon has the choke in. He's going for the choke. He's going for the guillotine. He's clearly going for the guillotine. Ciryl Gane looks like he's, kind of grabbing at Jon's arm a little bit. It's like his elbow, and then he's putting his hand on Jon's leg. And then at one point, Ciryl Gane just puts his hand on the canvas, and his right hand on the canvas, and just isn't grabbing Jon's hands or anything at all. But then Jon, at one point, Jon is applying the submission, and then he lets go. He lets go of the submission. After Jon lets go of the submission attempt, Ciryl Gane doesn't turn away. He doesn't turn his body. He doesn't move, twist, anything to get away from that position. He just stays exactly where he is, doesn't try to maneuver or anything. In fact, he lifts his head up and then puts his head back down, right back to the spot where Jon had the guillotine in the first place. And then right after Ciryl Gane puts his head right back there in the same exact spot that Jon just released his head from, Jon again grabs the guillotine, and this time Ciryl Gane again doesn't hand fight, and he just kind of sits there waiting till Jon can squeeze the guillotine a bit, and then as soon as he squeezes it, he just, all right, that's it. It was It was, hey, before the fight, I can't make any declarations. Before the fight, I had seen some people talking like, you know, the conspiracy theorists out there, and I was laughing at them. You know, people, oh, you know, the fix is in. No way the UFC is going to let Jon Jones lose and all this other stuff. There's no way he's going to lose to Gane. This is Jon's big comeback. They're bringing back their biggest star. USADA and the UFC have teamed up to try to clean up Jon's image and everything else with the whole, you know, everything that USADA does, changing the guidelines, trying to, you know, whatever. But anyway, I kind of laughed at this notion that, you know, I can't make any declarations, but hey, after watching what Ciryl Gane just did in that ending sequence at the beginning of the fight, I can't argue with him. I can't argue with the conspiracy theorists who are running around saying that, you know, the fix was in for this fight, because Ciryl Gane didn't try to defend the choke at all. I mean, at all. I don't know what he was doing. He just didn't defend. He didn't grab Jon's hands at all. Like, he didn't pull Jon's hands off his neck. He didn't. When Jon let go of the first guillotine attempt, Ciryl Gane stayed exactly where he was, kept his head in the exact same position, put his neck right there again. Jon grabbed the guillotine again. Ciryl Gane waited. Jon squeezed the guillotine. Ciryl Gane still waited. And then Ciryl Gane just looked and tapped. All right, fight over. That was it. There's nothing else I can say about this performance. Jon Jones won. He's the new heavyweight champion. He just beat Ciryl Gane, who, you know, this is his second chance at winning the title, and second chance losing. He lost to a injured Francis Ngannou. So, I mean, it's not like I can sit here and say like, oh my God, this is the most impressive performance ever by Jon Jones. He's fighting a guy that seemingly didn't try to defend the grappling or the guillotine at all on the ground. A guy who got out wrestled by an injured Francis Ngannou, who's not even a wrestler. So, you know, yeah. Congratulations on the getting the belt, Jon Jones. Maybe they're talking about, he called out Stipe Miocic after the fight. I can't say I'm that excited about that fight. Stipe is, you know, he's 40 something years old, 40, 41, and hasn't fought in I don't know, since he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou. So Jon Jones is basically just about to go beat another guy that Francis already, you know, finished in like 2 rounds, and another guy that Francis out-wrestled. So Francis out-wrestled Stipe as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't be excited for the Jon Jones versus Stipe fight. I would like to see Jon Jones versus Curtis Blades, someone who could actually, you know, give Jon some resistance in the wrestling, maybe even out-wrestle Jon himself. Curtis Blades is big. He's a wrestler. He's used to wrestling with these heavyweights. You know, I would be more excited for that fight than a 40-plus-year-old Stipe who hasn't even fought in however many years. I don't even know how many years it's been. But whenever Francis Ngannou knocked him out, Stipe hasn't fought at all. So, and now he's 3 years older. And what's, you know, are we supposed to think that Stipe is going to come back at 41 years old and, you know, beat Jon Jones, you know, like be the same Stipe from 3, 4, 5 years ago? It's not going to happen. He's going to be very diminished. You know, he's going to be nowhere near as good as the Stipe, even the Stipe that faced Ngannou last time. He won't even be nowhere near as good as that Stipe. So, but yeah, let's get into the next one. Co-main event. Man, Alexa Grasso defeats Valentina Shevchenko. I can explain to you how excited I was when this happened. I'm sorry. nothing made me happier on this card than Alexa Grasso beating Valentina Shevchenko. Man, I'm sorry, Alexa Grasso was outstriking Valentina like consistently throughout the fight, especially in the first and second rounds. She was hitting Valentina hard, wobbling Valentina. Just it was, you could tell Valentina was flustered. She got flustered from how hard she was getting hit. She was surprised at she seemed like she was like surprised, and she definitely switched up her game plan at a certain point after she realized that she wouldn't be able to, safely go toe to toe with Alexa Grasso throughout the fight. I mean, Alexa Grasso's boxing is phenomenal. I mean, you come in and you outstrike Valentina Shevchenko, somebody who, a lot of people will call, one of the most complete fighters and one of the best strikers, period, in MMA. Not just female, but just male and female. This is someone who, people often refer to as one of the best strikers in MMA. And Alexa Grasso came in and was tagging her up. I mean, wow. I was thoroughly impressed. I got to put some respect on Alexa Grasso's name because I was doubting her before this fight. I was not expecting her to win. I was more so looking forward to the Aaron Blanchfield fight because we all know Valentina Shevchenko's weaknesses are in the grappling. But hey, Alexa Grasso came in and took advantage of that weakness. It took a while, but in that fourth round, that back take was lightning quick. It was super fast. I mean, you heard the commentary team, Joe Rogan, going on about it. The way she took the back was crazy. Valentina threw this spinning back kick, missed, and Alexa Grasso just jumped on her, pounced on her, wrapped her up, and from there the ending sequence, fight finishing sequence was started, and man, it was she had the rear naked choke across the jaw. Let's see, it was at the 4-minute 34 second mark of the fourth round, she finished it. So it was coming right up on the end of the round, and yeah, she had the rear naked choke / face crank kinda. She had it across the face, but the squeeze was so tight. You could even see the imprint of Alexa Grasso's forearm across Valentina's face. Her face was red, but then there was a pale imprint all the way across her entire jaw, like from where the squeeze was. Valentina Shevchenko has experienced basically the division catching up to her. I wouldn't even say Valentina is declining, or anything like that. She still looks like a very good fighter. But the thing is that the division is catching up with her. When she came into this division, it was very subpar. She's been, kind of lording her skills over a very subpar division full of weak fighters, and as a result, she's looked superhuman up to now. People, she's unstoppable. She's the most complete fighter. Oh, the meme, most complete human being. She could be a CEO running any company. You know what I mean? Like, she could be a CEO running any company. She speaks 19 languages. But no, like she's the division's caught up to her. She now has good fighters in her division, and that's why we're seeing her in more competitive fights. First it was Tyler Santos. Tyler Santos arguably beat her, and she definitely would have beat her if it wasn't for the accidental headbutt or clash of heads that occurred and just really messed up her eye and kind of swole up her eye or whatever. She definitely would have won, and she still arguably did win even with that happening. And then now we see today Alexa Grasso just outstriking her at different points throughout the fight, especially early, and basically turning Valentina into a wrestler. Valentina was panic shooting. She was panic shooting in there. She shot a lot of good, well-timed takedowns, but also she shot a lot of, telegraph takedowns as well, and got some stuffed by Alexa Grasso. So Alexa turned Valentina into a wrestler tonight, and man, you want to talk about an impressive victory? They're probably going to be looking to set up the rematch, which is understandable. But Valentina defended the belt, whatever it was, 7 times. So it's understandable they'll be setting up the rematch. Hey, all the Valentina fans out there, you guys laughed. You giggled, you made your jokes. Y'all laughed when Amanda Nunes lost to Juliana Pena. Hey, as you can see, now it's happened to y'all. It's happened to y'all, girl, now. And really, Amanda Nunes was coming off of having COVID before that Pena fight. In that fight, Amanda Nunes just did not look like herself at all. She gassed after 1 round. Amanda Nunes doesn't gas out after 1 round. So she obviously was compromised going into that fight. Something wasn't right with her. And she proved that in the rematch. She came back in and absolutely dominated Juliana Pena. So off nights happens, injuries happens, health issues happen. So, and that can affect the fight on any given night. That is what seems like happened to Amanda Nunes. But for Valentina Shevchenko, she seemed, for the most part, herself today. It's just that, like I said, this division has been catching up. Better and better fighters have been coming into this division. And, man, she racked up a bunch of title defenses while facing subpar competition. But now that the competition is actually improving and at a level that can actually compete with her, she's had back-to-back fights where, she's looked very human, very beatable, and she got beat today. Great performance for Alexa Grasso. Definitely looking forward to whatever her next fight is, if it's a rematch or if they end up throwing Erin Blanchfield in there for Alexa Grasso. We'll see what happens there. I'm sure Erin Blanchfield is probably like, man, I can beat both of these people, because her ground game and submissions is, even better than both of them anyway. But yeah, let's get into the next one. The next, okay. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Geoff Neal. Boy, Rakhmonov is just fucking good, man. Like, the dude is good. He came into this fight super aggressive against a proven power puncher. I mean, Geoff Neal can crack, and Shavkat came right at him all night, like nonstop. He was super aggressive. He brought it to Geoff Neal, and he was facing a Geoff Neal that came in heavier than Shavkat Rakhmonov did. Like, Geoff Neal didn't even have to cut 4 or 5 pounds. He came in at 175 for the fight, and even with that advantage of not having to cut that extra 4 or 5 pounds, Shavkat still put on a great performance. Definitely was his toughest fight in terms of, him taking damage and stuff like that, getting hit, everything like that. Which, I mean, really, that's kind of what you want to see, though. You want to be able to see that a fighter can face some adversity and work through it sometimes. At least a lot of people want to see that. I don't mind a fighter being super dominant and just running through everybody. That's like super fun to me anyway. But a lot of people want to see that a fighter can face some adversity and work through it and still win. Dude, Shavkat Rakhmonov, 17-0 MMA fights in his career, 17 wins, 17 finishes. 17 fights, 17 finishes. You're rarely going to find a record like that in MMA, or really, you're rarely going to find a record like that in combat sports in general. Dude is a beast. Yeah, the dude is a beast. He ends up finishing Geoff Neal in the third round, late in the third round, at the 4-minute and 17-second mark of the third round. He got the finish. People were thinking this might be his first fight that goes to decision. He said, nah. Got a standing guillotine, kind of almost like a bulldog choke. It looked nasty. Geoff Neal's face looked like he was in some distress in that choke. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Shavkat Rakhmonov's next fights. The dude is going to be a title contender. I see him getting the belt at some point, whenever he gets the chance. Not saying that he's never going to get beat. I'm not even saying that he's not going to get beat before he gets the belt. But at some point, he's getting the belt. The dude is going to be a world champion at welterweight. So, definitely one of my favorite fighters doing it right now. Yeah, next up is Mateusz Gamrot versus Jalen Turner. This was a pretty crazy fight. Gamrot definitely earned the victory here. I scored it for him as well. It was close though. It was a close fight. One thing that I can say is Gamrot's offense. He doesn't have very potent striking offense, and even with his grappling, while he does have good offense in his grappling, he doesn't have like devastating offense in his grappling either. So he kind of just ends up in this area where he can land some strikes here and there on the feet, but not really putting anything like too powerful together or any combinations, or he's not really going to beat anybody up badly on the feet, it doesn't seem like. And then on the ground, he's not like a super dominant ground and pound guy on the ground either, or even a quick submission or a elite submission guy. It doesn't seem like he has good jiu-jitsu, but he's not a guy where if he gets you down, it's a death sentence. You know, he's gonna submit you, quickly or whatever. It's not like that. So I say he has to work on his offensive tools a bit more, make them a little bit more potent, a little bit more, have a little bit more, threat in terms of the finish. And Jalen Turner, though, in this fight proved that, even though in the loss, he proved that he is very good. He can still develop his takedown defense more, but he also showed some good takedown defense and good ability to get back up to his feet after Gamrot took him down. So on the feet, Jalen Turner is nasty. The dude is his striking is legit. He's gonna still beat a lot of people at lightweight. I still think he'll work his way up to the top and eventually get a title shot as well. He's not I wouldn't say he's a lock for winning a belt, especially in a division like lightweight. It's a lot of good fighters in lightweight, so you can't really, it's hard to predict someone. The last time I predicted someone being a lock to be champion at lightweight, it was Islam Makhachev. So I was calling him, heir to the throne all the way back before even Khabib even retired. I knew like Islam Makhachev would be champion at some point. So, but yeah, that was the last time that I've been able to look at someone and say, oh, he's definitely going to be a champion in terms of lightweight. Maybe the next closest might be Arman Tsarukyan. After Islam is done at lightweight, maybe Arman Tsarukyan moves up. But anyway, Jalen Turner is really good. His length makes it really hard on people, and not only his length, he has this crazy combination of being super tall and long and being quick. Like his striking is really quick. So that just increases the impact. Like it's like not only is he long and can hit you from far out, but he can hit you quickly. So it just rushes up on you so quick. He hurt Gamrot a lot in this fight. He hurt Gamrot on the feet a lot. They had a real good scrap. So looking forward to whatever's next for both of them. Gamrot's going to be looking to work his way up. Don't know who they're going to be looking at giving them next, but he took this fight on short notice. He earned the victory. Credit to him on that. We'll see what's next for him. Moving on to the very first fight on the main card, and it was Bo Nickal versus Jamie Pickett. Pretty much what people expected to happen. Jamie Pickett was kind of brought in to get steamrolled by Bo Nickal. While Jamie Pickett, he gave some resistance, when he was in that arm triangle, he was just kind of stuck there. Bo Nickal had a little bit of issue applying it. It seemed like he needed to. I would say he needed to get he had the arm triangle, but he was kind of still like in half guard, or he needed to get his body off to the side of Jalen Turner, basically. And he seemed, I don't know if he just wasn't aware that he needed to do that, but he needed to cut his knee through and get out of the half guard and get off to the side of Jalen Turner. Get off to the side of Jamie Pickett. And in order to finish that, so it took him a minute to get it, and I was thinking maybe his arms were going to gas out. So if he didn't get that submission there, it would have been interesting to see what happened if Jamie Pickett. What would have happened if Jamie Pickett would have gotten out of that? Because he was squeezing a long time. But Bo Nickal, great wrestler, of course, great grappler. He's worked on his jiu-jitsu for a long time as well. One thing I would say is his striking looked a little, his striking is not great. Just from the little bit that we saw in this fight, he threw a kick and ended up like throwing himself through the air and falling down on the ground while throwing a kick, which is like, it's not something that you can look at and say, oh, look, well, of course that can happen, but he just didn't look super comfortable on the feet. He wanted to close the distance immediately, which is understandable. He only came into this fight with only 3 MMA fights in his life, so he needs to develop. As he gets to the top of the division, he's going to have to be a little bit more careful with how he spends his energy. He's very aggressive, and if he comes up against someone who's able to give him resistance and survive the first round, get into the second round, he doesn't want to get into a situation where he's gassed himself out trying to, take someone down and submit him, super quick at the beginning of the fight. Looking forward to how Bo Nickal develops. He's definitely going to be, as he works his way up, he'll definitely be like the best wrestler at middleweight. And then, of course, now we have Khamzat going up to middleweight as well. So that'll be a good clash if Bo Nickal can work his way up to possibly get in the Khamzat fight at some point. Khamzat has really good wrestling, has great wrestling, but he's also just a freestyle wrestler. People seem to group Khamzat into the whole Caucasus region wrestlers and the Dagestanis and stuff like that. He's not really of that type of grappling system. He moved to Sweden when he was like 17 years old, 16, 17 years old. And he's been doing freestyle wrestling ever since then. So he doesn't really have like the wrestling combined with the judo, combined with the jiu-jitsu that, someone like Islam Makhachev has or Khabib had or whatever. So it's going to be him versus Bo Nickal definitely is going to be an interesting matchup. Bo Nickal is definitely the better freestyle wrestler, the more credentialed freestyle wrestler. But Khamzat, of course, his striking is way farther developed than more developed than Bo Nickal. So, but yeah, we'll see what's next for Bo Nickal. I'm pretty sure they're gonna give him a few more fights of guys who are outside of the rankings, and let him build himself up, get some experience, and basically get some reps in. Let's see what he looks like if he has to strike with someone, or see what he looks like after he gets hit a few times. We'll see how he reacts to that. So, but yeah, overall great card. Like I said, except for the end there, pretty anticlimactic. Great performances throughout. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'm definitely gonna have more videos coming out, maybe on this event and definitely on upcoming UFC events. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.